The beginning of this review is starting a little different. I had to put together this watch before I could actually review it. Today we're going to be taking a look at the DIY Watch Club Dive Kit. The build is a straightforward dive watch. The kit comes with all the tools you need, and thankfully they were of decent quality. The whole kit comes neatly packaged and labeled, so it's hard to misplace anything or question what you're actually looking for if you're not experienced in watch components. After taking the case back off the case to have the case parts ready to accept the dial and movement, you're ready to get started. The basic steps of the process are fitting the dial onto the movement, followed by setting the hands onto the dial. Hand setting was the most nerve-wracking part, as it required balance and a delicate touch. Luckily I didn't mess it up. After that is complete, the assembly is fitted onto the movement holder and the chapter ring. After making sure my hands were aligned properly so the date changed at the right time and that none of the hands hit each other, I was able to case the watch. It seems simple, because it is. About an hour after I started, I had a completed dive watch I had built myself. Now let's see what the finished product is like. So, I've built my dive watch, and what do I have at the end of it? Was the finished product worth the build? Is the watch itself something I'd even want to wear? The short answer is yes. The dimensions of the D01 are larger, but not huge. It all comes together in a balanced package that feels good on the wrist. The lugs turn down gently, and despite being a tad thick, it doesn't pop out or command too much wrist presence on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. The D01 feels comparable to some of the larger Seiko dive watches like the SBDC-061, or even a tad like the Turtle. What I mean by all that is despite it being on the bigger side, all the dimensions work well together and are balanced enough to make it feel comfortable on the wrist. The elastic strap also helps it feel light. I wouldn't mind seeing a bracelet released for this watch, but in the meantime I might see if some of my Seiko bracelets fit. I'm glad DIY Watch Club didn't opt for a sterile dial on the D01. The branding at 12 o'clock and the text at 6 o'clock makes it feel more like a watch you bought. To me, that is a good thing. I'm also happy they chose to use their logo at 12 o'clock. It makes it feel slightly less generic. The rest of the dial is straightforward. There isn't a ton of flash, but it is executed well. The markers used are unique and complement the handset. The loom quality is excellent. It is applied evenly, and I love that a loomed bezel with a different color was used, as well as on the hands. When it comes to quality control, it was essentially up to me. I had to make sure there were no smudges left on the dial, crystal, or hands. I had to ensure that I didn't leave any dust on the dial when casing the watch. The parts themselves were up to DIY Watch Club to QC, but I didn't find anything that stuck out to me as being missed in the QC process before it arrived on my doorstep. The only thing I found when I was complete were some marks on the dial itself. I didn't examine it closely before I started handling it, so it's entirely possible that they were left there by me when assembling the watch. They aren't truly visible once you take the macro lens away, so it doesn't really bother me. I suppose at the end of the day, the longevity of this watch and whether the hands or bezel fall off are going to be the test of how skilled I am at watch assembly. Before I secured everything tight and declared the watch complete, I did give it a couple bangs and bumps to ensure everything was locked in. Thankfully nothing fell off and forced me to start the process over again. It seems to me that this kit was put together by people who have their feet thoroughly entrenched in the watch world and understand what someone who is looking at this kit might want in a watch. This was an experience I thoroughly enjoyed. It brought me a little closer to the hobby I enjoy so much and gave me the opportunity to experience it in a different way. I realize this isn't going to be for everyone. Experienced watch modders might find this process boring, but I don't believe that this is the crowd this kit is aimed at. The best part for me is that I now own a watch I assembled myself and has immediate sentimental value. That alone is worth it to me. Thanks for checking out the video review, and for the full written review, head over to watchclicker.com.